Good evening, New Zealand and the world. Lucas Lawman's here, obviously, a Kiwi voice here in Blenheim. Way for work again, and yeah, in the motel room just on the main street of Blenheim. It's been a full-on day travelling up from Christchurch, and yeah, I just thought I'd jump on and go with an unscripted live. Usually I've got a few bits and pieces on the laptop here in terms of stories to reference, but usually I would have something, I usually prepare a full script, let's put it that way, for points to yarn about, but I'm just going to go off the cuff and give this one a go. About a couple of points around a couple of articles that I'll be reading today and a couple of comments that I've chucked on Facebook as well. Thanks to everyone that is joining in. Really appreciate you doing so. I'm pretty sure that the audio should be fine, but someone flick me a comment and let me know we are all good to go before we dive into this unscripted yarn. Yeah, thanks everyone. Gloomy old day here in Blenheim, although the sunset is peeking through nice enough as we chill out here in the motel room and finish off a little bit of work, and obviously thanks Kate, and obviously get cover off the usual news circulation. I can't stay away from it from too long, to be totally fair. There's just so much going on that's, I think, worth commenting on and fun commenting on. We're going to have a look at what's going on just quickly. As I say, forgive me if I sort of go off on a few different angles as I'm doing this one totally unscripted. We're going to have a look at what's been going on internationally with some of the energy crises, as well as New Zealand's potential participation in some of that. And also just wanted to comment on, which we'll probably kick off with, the recent Newshub survey. Now, Newshub seems to do this fairly regularly. They chuck up surveys, sometimes they're 24 hours, sometimes they're only a few hours. Hello Rachel, good to see that you got here live, glad that you're stoked for that as well. Around certain issues, look, you think what you may, you've got absolutely no proof whatsoever, and at least Newshub does in fact have a couple of journalists, well, one, Ryan, on the morning show, that does actually challenge the government the old style Fourth Estate way. But these surveys that they chuck up there, you can't help but think they're sort of barometers or temperature markers for some government policy moves. Anyway, they chucked one up yesterday around mask wearing. I'm sure majority of you out there have actually seen their one up there or had the links shared around and, asked to participate in that survey, because it's been absolutely everywhere on social media and pretty much every, avenue that I've had a look at. The results were, from what I just saw, I saw Outdoors and Freedom Party on my Facebook feed not 10 minutes ago, showed that the combined total of should be dropped in all but high-risk settings or should be dropped altogether in terms of mask mandates was 98%. Now, that surprised even me. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of votes in this poll. So, I mean, that's heartening. That's good news, that majority of Kiwis, at least, that participated in this poll. So we've got to see it as a sample with that against the existing mask mandates. No one's going to stop anyone from wearing a mask. I've copped a few comments, as you always do, in the free speech platform that we try and make Kiwi Voice, that, we're not that happy with my statements on masks yesterday and previously. But, I'm not going to stop anyone wearing one, and I can't, and I shouldn't, and no one should else either. If you want to wear one, wear one. But yeah, to have a continued government mandate in place in certain regions, it all makes absolutely no sense to me. Hello, Elaine. Thanks for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. What's happening overseas with energy? So in Germany, we know that they are actually struggling with an energy crisis brought on directly, it seems, by Russia shutting down the major pipeline that they receive their natural gas from, that is widely used across Germany and large parts of Europe for home heating and energy production in general for homes. and they are getting to the stage now where it is becoming a crisis. I came across a Bloomberg article, and the way that it's being framed there kind of blew me away. Bloomberg being a predominantly business-focused publication, but Germany's energy crisis deepens as local utilities cry for help. Can you believe this one? The large energy utilities in Germany are asking for money from the government to facilitate their trades. So from a business perspective, Bloomberg is reporting that the Germany utility companies are saying it's a crisis for business. Don't worry about all the people that are choosing whether they can actually heat their homes or eat in Germany, whether there is looming potential for riots literally over there in terms of energy prices and energy shortages around the gas. They are just worried about the profits. So that kind of blew me away. Over on this side of things, what prompted me, or this side of the world in New Zealand, what prompted me to actually look for this information, I see that Newsroom has posted, I should say, or put up an article. New Zealand expresses active interest in joining German climate club. So as well as the sanctions on Russia and the retaliation for shutting down the pipeline to supply most of Europe, they're actually obviously implementing some of these fairly aggressive climate policies around energy usage as well, which is also putting upward pressure on energy prices for the average consumer in Germany. And New Zealand wants to get amongst that by the sounds of things. Now, I initially jumped on Facebook and commented under Kiwi Voice, essentially saying how completely and utterly mad that is, and whether we should have any involvement in that whatsoever. As it turns out, though, the article was actually, I might have been slightly off the mark, I'll admit fault there. They're actually talking about carbon reduction and carbon measurement and emissions. So not specifically around climate policy, putting pressure on energy prices as a result of energy shortages as well. But regardless, it's probably not something that we should really be getting involved in. From where I sit, we've got bigger issues to deal with here in New Zealand, other than getting involved in a climate accord with the German, people, or sorry, not German people, the German government that is not really helping their own people and dealing with their own energy crisis. So kind of crazy there. Over in the UK, though, I'm kind of surprised that not more coverage outside of the UK. There's plenty of coverage over there, and specifically from independent media, but I'm surprised there's not more coverage here in New Zealand and other parts of the world in terms of what's going on over there. Turns out that the energy situation in the UK is bordering on crisis also. There is a movement, Don't Pay .uk. Look, I'm going to muck that up. I'll chuck a link up in the comments or some info up in the description of this video after I've posted the live. But there's essentially a movement going on over in the UK where they're trying to get upwards of 1 million people to commit to not paying their energy bills. So due to large increases, these happen every October in the UK. Their system is different to here. It's not a wholesale-based product or anything, but they review them yearly. We once had a similar kind of setup here in New Zealand, and the price increases are through the roof over in the UK. It's getting to the stage also there, one of the most highly developed nations in the world, whereby, one of the oldest nations in the world, whereby that it's getting to the stage where people can't actually heat their homes, are choosing to eat or heat, seems to be the term that's coming out in a lot of the place over there as well. So you can sign up on this website, and they're trying to get 1 million people to commit to not paying their energy bills in a form of peaceful protest. Mainstream media over in Britain is reporting that as, hey, it's a risk to you guys, you could get power cut off. Unbelievable. Rather than trying to support the everyman, that, that's the same issue the world over. So that's sad to see. As a result of that, I did see some reporting that upwards of 30,000 pubs over in the UK are looking to potentially close. That's 75% of pubs in the UK. Can you imagine that? Looking to close due to increases in energy costs, just making business unviable. Did you ever think that we would see this in our lifetime? I certainly didn't think so. I mean, these energy issues are happening in all sorts of other parts of the world as well. It's not just Germany and UK. These are just the two that I've picked up. We are luckily got a very strong energy system here in New Zealand. It doesn't look like those things are going to be happening here, based on our energy mix and how we generate and, how our whole system works. It's very, very unlikely, but still multiple countries around the world. Now, the pub in the UK, obviously, it's a bit more it has a bit more meaning to society over there than it does potentially in other parts of the world. It's the hub of a lot of sure, rural communities here, small towns, etc. Absolutely. It's a meeting place. It's a community hall, all of that stuff. But, it's been that way in the UK, and it's critical to a lot of how the UK society operates. So to hear that over 75% of those are potentially closing, that is really sad to hear. So that's what's going on around the world, team, in terms of energy crises. Just thought it was worth a comment, as I say, as I'm up here in Blenheim in the hotel room, doing it on the fly. Thanks to everyone that has tuned in once again. We've got more work coming up in regards to providing you unbiased and neutral coverage of local council candidates. I've chucked the feelers out there to a couple of others, as well as the Christchurch ones. Been meaning to touch base with, seems to be the flavour of the moment on independent media, and that is Ali Cook. She seems like a lovely lady. She's been on Farmer James and on the platform. Love to get her on, as well as any other local council candidate. And I don't really care if you've been attacked by the mainstream media or not. If you want a platform whereby you can speak, put forward your case for being elected for local council to a fantastic group of lovely free-thinking individuals and Kiwis here on Kiwi Voice, then let me know. Send any details my way to yourkiwivoice.co.nz or send us a message through the page. We would love to get them on. But we've got a few more coming up. We've got a couple lined up, and we've got a couple of feelers out there as well, and plenty more basically to go. And yes, Elaine, I am in Blenheim away for work. I'm in a motel room. I do this from time to time. I have to travel a few times a year, so that's where I am. No problem, Michelle. It's a privilege being able to sit here and yarn to all you lovely Kiwis. But now I'm going to go and get some dinner. Thanks for tuning in, team. Really appreciate you doing so, and briefly keeping me company here on the work trip. Stay safe, stay free, and we'll see you again real soon.